are you, Katie,
Katie,
right?
nice to meet you.
Raphael, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay, so my name's Katie Matthews and I'm Canadian, 35 years old, and we've been traveling. Well, you can introduce yourself.
Geoff Matthews, I'm 39 from Canada, and yeah, we've been traveling full-time now for 3 years without a home, without an office, without a base, without anything. So
We started out mostly freelancing when we left to travel, and since then we've developed a business more where we have books, adult coloring books, as well as our blog, and do affiliate marketing, and we still do some freelancing. Okay, we met in Taiwan in 2006, and we were living there. I was studying Chinese and Geoff was teaching English, and so we met as expats living abroad.
yeah, so we sort of had the travel bug, or the itch to keep traveling from early on. We moved home a couple of times, and every time we came home and got like a normal job, it just always seemed kind of wrong, and we didn't really want to. So after we got into the routine of being life in Canada,
We worked in offices, we had a house, we had 2 cars,
yeah,
like the whole
all
thing.
the normal stuff. I had a job in sales for like a construction manufacturing company.
Yeah, and I worked for a big communications and public relations agency.
Yeah, so I didn't really have any like digital skills or anything like that before we left, so it was kind of scary to sort of figure out what am I supposed to do to keep traveling or to keep our life afloat when we're away, because I've always had like face-to-face contact with clients and always like getting in my company car and driving to job sites, and so when you take that away, it's like I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to contribute, right? So I think the trick for me was to basically turn a hobby into a profession, kind of, because I had always done video editing and made little videos for a hobby, and then so for my transition into like a digital life sort of began with that, to say, okay, how can I develop my skills to the point where I could maybe help clients and be able to sustain location independent, like not have to depend on any one specific place to earn some money and to keep going. So that's where it started for me.
So we met in 2006 in Taiwan, and then we went back to Canada we met in 2005 and went back to Canada in 2006. Worked until the end of 2009 in Canada, and originally the plan was to travel for a while and then move to Hong Kong or Taiwan or something and continue our professional jobs, like
Just in a different country.
yeah, so more traditional expats.
Yeah.
We traveled through South America, we went back to Taiwan, and then we went back to Canada.
Yeah.
And we never did that. So we went back, we taught English. And then we were settled in Vancouver then, and that's when digital nomadism was starting to be on our radar, like 2012, 2011.
We'd started to meet some people that traveled full time, and we really just kind of decided this is something that we would like to do as well, but
there were more blogs, and
Yeah.
it was possible at that point.
we'd actually met other human beings that travel permanently. So we're like, okay, well, other people can do it. It's something that we should be able to figure out how to do, I think.
So we just set our minds to saving, and we sort of talked for a long time about owning our own business, and we decided we wanted to start our own business and start traveling full time at the same time, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. But the goal really was to leave, to start freelancing so we could keep going, and to figure out a business as we went.
Yeah. It started as a a blog, really. Like,
Yeah.
and that's all it was at the very beginning. It was just sort of a way to just keep track of our travels and write about interesting things and sort of develop a community of readers beyond just our, close friends and family kind of thing, like to start expanding our social reach and meet people around the world. And
took about 3 years before it started to make any money. And really, it was only when it started to make money that we started to treat it as a business.
Yeah.
So it was really a hobby for quite a while, and we just sort of self-funded our travels with freelancing and that kind of thing. And then once we saw that it could make money, as people started, like we do affiliate marketing, so as people started making purchases and stuff through the website, we got a really good idea of who our audience is because of what they were buying. And then we were able to start tailoring content a little bit more towards who's reading it.
Just to back up a little bit, like WanderTooth was simply only a blog and just a written platform. But then once we started to get some informational posts out there where people, relied on us for information and started to come to our site a little bit regularly, it started to get a lot busier with internet traffic. And so once that started to take over and start earning us money, it kind of replaced the need to freelance and to do any kind of freelance work. It sort of took that over. So now we didn't need to do that anymore for income. Let's focus solely on this blog. And then we sort of turned it into a business, and we incorporated it as a business. And then now the coloring books are part of that business. And yeah, they're sold through our website. We sell them on Amazon. We've got
We have pages on Etsy.
yeah, like just there's so
Who is
many
actually
different.
drawing them?
We outsource it.
Yeah.
So we take the photographs, and then we have a few tracers all over the world on like freelance websites, and they blow the photographs up to like 1,000% and
they just
trace on a tablet into Illustrator.
Yeah.
And then they'll send them back, we'll test them and color them and send back feedback, and we just go back and forth until...
And one drawing usually will take like 4 to 6 hours or so for the person to complete, but some of the more complicated ones can take up to like 15 hours for one drawing. Favorite destinations? Yeah, hard to say. We travel, and now we're traveling, but also running a business at the same time. We travel much slower than we have in the past, so we try to spend like a month or so in each location at least.
Yeah, when possible.
When possible, yeah. So then we can still eat normal food and not have to eat in restaurants all the
have a
time, and have a
kitchen.
strong, good internet connection, and just and be able to work, but also still have enough time to see the place that you're in. You also want to be a traveler and a tourist, and also want to see all the sights at the same time.
Prague is great. Mexico is fantastic.
Mexico is good.
We spent 8 months in Mexico, late last year and early this year, and the cost of living is great. Internet is not as good.
Depends on the area.
It depends on the area.
Like in the highly tourist areas in Mexico has pretty fast internet, but if you're a little bit more remote or in a smaller city, it's hit or miss.
I think too, like sometimes people make the destination, both the locals but also other digital nomads that you meet along the way. Like Playa del Carmen in Mexico has a ton of digital nomads, so for co-working and meetups and that kind of thing, you can meet a lot of people and sort of learn things. Prague is the same right now. There's a lot of digital nomads there, and we met a ton of people when we were there.
And there's resources for us now too, because now that we've been doing this for a little while now, we've met a lot of other digital nomads as well, and of course they've been to many different places, and as we move around we chat and talk to one another and say, what's the internet speed here, or what's cafe lifestyle here, or what's the co-working space here. So there's some resources that we can reach out to as well to get information before we go to a place. I'm almost 40 and I want to I don't want to always carry a backpack on my 20 kilos on your back every day. So yeah, it's nice to slow down and enjoy it a bit more.
Get a gym membership.
Yeah.
Typically for 1 to 3 months we'll stay in Airbnbs.
Yeah, or we'll try to find a house sit.
Or a house sit.
House sitting is pretty. I think it's fairly common for digital nomads. Sometimes you have to look after a pet or something while somebody's gone on vacation, and then you go and live in their house for free in exchange for looking after their home and looking after their cat or dog or whatever. So
we've house sat for 2 months in Portugal in the south, 1 month in the center.
Yeah,
we've house sat in
Edinburgh,
Berlin, Stockholm.
It's really good for expensive cities to have your accommodation already paid for, and then you don't have to eat in restaurants. You can go to a grocery store and you have a full kitchen, and usually the internet is much better in somebody's house rather than an Airbnb where they just have the minimum a lot of times.
Yeah, and then when we're not house sitting for that midterm, we'll do an Airbnb, and usually Airbnb has a separate website with /sublet, and it's
for longer term
rent, and it's usually about 30 or 40% off discount from the typical Airbnb prices. So, and often owners are willing to negotiate a bit further if you commit to a certain amount of time. So usually we'll contact owners, say this is what we're doing, and we always ask about internet speeds and get them to test them for us.
Or usually it'll be in the review. Reviews are very, very important in Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we did for our next long term is in Ukraine, and it was a sublet and we just sort of contacted them and negotiated what can we work out if we could stay for 7 weeks kind of thing. So
the other resources, which is really good, is Facebook, because most cities will have rent a room or accommodation groups or sublet groups. So we haven't had to do that before, but if I couldn't find something on Airbnb, that's where we look.
There's probably a group of expats that live in that city that have a Facebook page and just It's so hard because I don't really remember what it was like before, really.
Yeah.
So, when you're traveling and moving around from place to place a lot, it gets kind of lonely because if you have close friends, but if those close friends are doing what they love, then they're not going to be in the same city as you. So our friends are all over the world, so we are basically each other's company all the time. But with really, we outsource a few things with the business, but most things of the business all fall on our shoulders. And so many times we work 7 days a week and 8-10 hours per day we're at the laptop working. So we really have recently tried to scale that back to say, okay, well, Wednesday night let's be a couple and let's not open the laptop and let's just go for dinner.
We have to schedule things, social time.
But sometimes we go out for dinner and say, okay, we're not going to talk about work tonight. Let's just no work talk, nothing. Let's put our phones away and not talk about work. So we say, okay.
We have nothing to talk about.
I don't know what to say.
It's when you spend all your time together, we don't run out of things to talk about, but you don't have to report back on what you did during the day, really. So
because you were right across the table from me all day. I know what you did today.
I think though, we've always in our relationship spent a lot of time together, probably more than most people. I think because we met when we were abroad, we just became really close quickly, and then we moved in together after less than 6 months together, and we've always been together since. So
You get married in Canada?
Married in Mexico.
We got married. Yeah, we were living in
We were
Canada,
living there, yeah.
but we had a destination wedding in in Mexico because we didn't want a big wedding.
Don't want to pay for
We
it.
just wanted a vacation with friends. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really fight, I think. We get grumpy with each other for sure, but
Yeah.
we're used to that now, and
It really is just kind of getting used to it.
the other day, yesterday.
I was gonna say not anymore, but
So typically, like, when I come into cities, sometimes I do miss it, like just wandering around a city by yourself or something. Or I just started playing Pokemon Go, and Geoff hates it. So I'm like, oh, if I had, a day to myself, I could just wander around and play Pokemon Go all day.
you're welcome to do that. I'm not stopping.
Yeah, but it's really just stupid things like that is it.
But missing things from back home, like for a long time I missed the stability of every 2 weeks having a paycheck,
Yeah.
because for the first little while of our business, money would come in bits and pieces, and so it was never anything constant, and they could never rely on it. Maybe next month we'll make this much, or we'll make this. We have no idea. So now with the books and our affiliate income stabilizing, now it's a little bit more comforting to know that it is started. The wheels are turning all on this business now, and it's rolling forward, and it's more comforting.
Yeah.
But for a while, I was definitely missing that.
No, we still talk about having a base sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not right away. It's just it's a legitimate goal, I think, that we have, and whether we actually realize it or not, the idea, Vancouver is a very expensive city in Canada, and so the goal is to put ourselves in a position where we could buy a place and live in Vancouver.
But
Now-
always be traveling.
But yeah,
Or back and forth.
yeah. So whether we actually realize that or not, it's more of a financial goal than anything else. So put our business in a position where that could be a realistic thing to do, is to be able to afford to live in Canada and buy a place and have a life there, and having our business sustain that for us and not.
Yeah, most of our friends who have been doing it longer than us, it's usually 5 or 7 years when they start to get really sick of it. And so we have a few friends now at sort of 5 or 7 years, and they're getting bases. Some are still going. I think I always want to travel, but if we could have a base so we don't have to always carry everything, or
Yeah, we could take specific things. If you're going to the Caribbean, we don't need our coats. If we're going to-
Yeah, or even we were talking to some friends who just bought a drone, and they're digital nomads too, and we're like, what are you gonna do? Because we have other friends who have drones, and they've gone through 3 drones because they keep getting confiscated at borders because they're not declaring them properly or something. So, we're not, if we had a home base, we could get a drone and just bring it when we're going somewhere where we can use it. Just stupid stuff like that, I think. And
because
also,
right now with our life, we have to take everything with us.
advantages, I think, just the incredible freedom to make your own success wherever you want, meet people, experience new cultures. I mean, you're just completely free in so many ways.
Yeah. That's 2.
Okay, 2 advantages.
And I think freedom is pretty well all encompassing, but I think for me that if I just don't feel like it in the morning, I don't have to work.
Yeah.
If I think of something at midnight, I can, the time, I'm not tied to any specific schedule. And there are some mornings where you wake up and you're just I don't have it. I just don't have it. But then, you go for a walk and you have lunch or whatever, and then in the afternoon, so if you want to work from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m., or if you want to work from 7 a.m. until whatever, or if we want to work on a Saturday and not work on a Monday, it really,
I hate working at night, and right now being in Europe and a lot of like relationships that we have to maintain there in North America. So all these emails are coming through in the afternoon and evening, and I just hate responding to emails at that time. You have to do it.
Yeah. But as far as disadvantages go, I mean, I would say that we probably work more for less than when we did, working corporate jobs and that kind of thing. But because it's yours, it's more meaningful. But
and there's the possibility that it will get to the point where we don't have to work as much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal.
But a disadvantage for me, and I can't speak for every digital nomad, obviously, but I find like I miss having like a social circle of friends in the same city where you can make plans not 6 months out when we're in the same city next, but having people over for dinner or just meeting your friends at the pub or whatever, like that doesn't happen very often. So that's something that I miss.
Yeah, regular friendships.
Social
so we have still our normal friends in Canada, and we have digital nomad friends that we see when we manage to meet up. But
like there are groups of digital nomads that all live in the same city, like around,
or they'll travel
together.
Like we have friends, and they completely base their travel schedule around where their friends are going to be.
But not every digital nomad is a travel-based company. We're very much travel-based, so that's what we like to do, but it's also what we need to do for our business. But a lot of digital nomads, I'm just going to go move to Thailand because I can and work from there, and they'll stay there for 3 years and get friends and have their social circles or whatever. But month to month, we move around a lot, so.
And we need to be going to new places to make money.
Yeah.
Have an income source starting before you go. So if you're gonna freelance, get your clients
first
before you go, for sure. Don't go too fast. You'll burn yourself out really quickly. Like, a month or 2 months in a city is great, but actually traveling takes a lot of just effort and time, planning where you're gonna stay, how you're gonna get there, what the internet's like, what the visa situation's like. And so you do spend a lot of time travel planning too, and you need to, if you go slow enough, then it sort of breaks up that burden.
But yeah, just like trust your instincts, embrace change, the normal sort of cliches, but they apply. Like every day, like if there are some people that are very resistant to change, and I'm one of them. I like my systems and I like to have my routines. I've just learned how to take my routines with me when I go to different places, or how to set them up so that I feel a little bit more comfortable. But you just kind of have to be willing to step off the edge at some point and realize that all of those like ties that you have back home aren't really permanent if you don't want them to be.
Yeah, you don't have to do what you thought you had to do or how your normal life.
Yeah, like people often say the words to us. They're like, "Oh, if I could go back and do it all again, I would do what you guys were doing." But it's like,
you can.
I don't know if you really have to go back in time to do that.
Yeah.
You just need to be willing to do it. Or, people think that
Step
because
off the
they own a
ledge.
house and they own a car and they have, some material ties to back home, that prevents them somehow from realizing that. And I can speak from experience. We bought a house and we bought 2 cars and we had all of these things. We had furniture and microwaves and all this stuff, pictures hanging on the wall. We had a house. And we just decided it wasn't for us, so we just cut it off. Said, okay, well, let's sell the cars. Like, it's all just stuff. It comes up.
Yeah, we've
once
thought
in a
about
while.
it.
Yeah.
We've thought about it. There are people who do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for us, we'd probably say do it till the kid is like 5 and then needs to go to school.
Yeah, once they need to like go to.
Because I don't want to like run a business. I don't want to homeschool someone, so they have to go to school.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even if you set up your business that you are really free before you have kids, and then are still traveling for a while. Once kids have 2 months off every summer plus spring break plus Christmas, so it's still actually quite a lot of time to travel. So we talk about it, but I don't know yet.
Yeah. It's in the cards at some point, but
yeah,
where everything is right now, it's just
still building the business.
Yeah.
We are in Ukraine. We're going there on Thursday, and we'll be there until mid-October. And then we're going to Frankfurt for a book fair to try and get distributors for our books around the world. And then we're going to London for World Travel Market, which is a big tourism industry trade show. And then we'll be in Edinburgh for all of November. Some friends of ours live there, and they're going back to Canada, so we're going to look after their apartment while we're there. And then we don't know. Maybe the Caribbean for a project.
A partnership project in the Caribbean.
To make a coloring book, but we haven't heard back yet, so. Statues again.